Welcome back to Primetime News, and a special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, Andrew Holness was sworn in this afternoon for a third time as Prime Minister, following his party's landslide victory at the poll on Thursday. At the ceremony, which was scaled down due to COVID-19 measures in place, Mr. Holness outlined some of his plans for the term ahead, while also tackling the corruption issue again. We'll have all that later, but first, the ceremony at which Mr. Holness was sworn in.
2:58 p.m. Prime Minister Andrew Holness arrived at King's House not to vuvuzelas or screaming supporters. Instead, health protocols were a major feature of his swearing-in.
I, Andrew Michael Holness, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica.
In his speech, which followed, Mr. Holness said controlling the spread of the coronavirus is on top of the government's agenda, but it appears locking down the country is not part of the plan.
As we enter this new phase of the pandemic, the greater emphasis must be on the responsible behavior of the individual. Jamaica does not have the reserve of resources to always be locking down our economy.
Monday's ceremony would mark the third time Mr. Holness is being sworn in as Prime Minister. His party won a convincing 48 seats at the polls, and as he did in his victory speech on election night, he cautioned MPs against becoming arrogant and complacent.
Every member of the government must understand that this mandate is not about them, it is about the people. No princes or princesses were elected. You have no divine right or entitlement. We are all servants of the public.
On the issue of corruption, this is what the new Holness government will be doing differently.
We must also seek to prevent the occurrence of acts which weaken public trust and damage the integrity of the government. To this end, I have indicated to the Executive Director of the Integrity Commission that each elected representative and each appointed minister will participate in the sensitization and public education programs to be established by the Integrity Commission. This to increase their awareness and understanding of the anti-corruption legislative framework, not just to sensitize them alone, but to ensure that they are seized of their duties under the law and understand that this will be an accountable government.
Nationally, Mr. Holness is promising to, among other things, expand broadband and Wi-Fi access for all. This was a major plank of the JLP's manifesto.
We will build a national broadband network infrastructure, which is uniform, future-proof, resilient, and managed by an independent public-private authority and available to all telecom players in the market to utilize. No more drop calls.
The Prime Minister is also committing to solving the country's water woes.
We have developed a plan to bring approximately 100 million gallons of water per day into the system, involving pumped hydro storage and desalinization to cover Clarendon, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, particularly the hilly sections, and parts of St. Thomas.